Tina. You look
I'm
beautiful.
happy to see you too. You look gorgeous.
Oh, well, thank you. I love these colors. All right, let's just dive right in, especially since I'm a couple of minutes
Now
behind.
we're coordinated, aren't we?
Yeah, we are kind of,
By accident.
they would say coordinated, right?
Yes,
Good, you're
coordinated.
looking good. But now let's talk a little bit about why you are back in your hometown. I know that you and Beyonce have joined together on a really significant effort, and tell me about it.
Well, Houston has the second lowest rate of testing in the nation. And unfortunately, 7 out of the 10 zip codes are the most affected areas, and they're low income areas. And we are having a lot of misinformation. And in speaking with Dr. Barone and Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, they both told me that people showed up the first week that they opened these sites. They partnered with United Methodist Hospital, and they have 4 testing sites that are in our communities. And people showed up the first week, and after that, it dwindled. And the day that I spoke with her, she said it's 4 cars out here. So that was very upsetting to me, because I feel, along with experts, that testing is a way that we can contain this disease, and that we are infecting our mothers, grandmothers, grandfathers in our communities, and they are dying at an alarming rate. 33% of fatalities are African American people, even though we only make up 13% of the population. So if you look at that, that's very, very frightening to me.
Well, and I know that Beyonce has spoken out about this. She talked about it during a recent event. She's posted it on Instagram. Why is this so important to you guys? And why is it so important to her?
Well, it's so important because, our people are dying, and we are misinformed, and we are still showing up, um, in public places with no mask and no protection. And for some reason, young people feel that they can't get this, which is not true, because a lot of them are dying as well. But it's just a lot of misinformation, and it's just unfortunate, and it's really sad. And we feel like we have to do whatever we can do, to whom much is given, much is required. So that's always our philosophy. And this movement is about doing your part. In our conversations, that kept coming up. Everybody has to do their part, no matter how small it is or how large it is. Everybody can do their part. You can get groceries for an elderly person. You can go empty their trash can. You can go get tested, which protects your family and your community. I just think awareness has to be out there, because we are, sometimes misinformed.
And you are focusing a lot on testing, not only this weekend, but in the future. And in fact, this time around, you're bringing the test to the people in addition to
Yes.
other
Well,
things.
actually, the test has been there, and it will be an ongoing thing. There's 13 testing sites in Houston. It's just to get the people out, to bring the awareness about how important it is to do it and how you can protect your community. We are, this came about in a conversation with Kim Gagne, and Beyonce said, "Mom, we need to find some way to get people to go get tested." And we talked with her because her husband had the
Right.
pandemic and survived it. And so after that conversation, she was saying, well, people are still showing up, at restaurants, and, they're getting together with no mask on. And so I'm like, well, what if we brought the restaurant to the testing site? And that was the initial idea, but of course we couldn't mix the two. So we're giving them a gift certificate to go around the corner to Frenchie's and get a wonderful meal and a dessert and a drink. We're giving them all these cleaning supplies, vitamins. I've been able to secure a lot of vitamins, which is really important because, Black people have a deficiency when it comes to vitamin D, and that is what the disease is attacking. So vitamin C, vitamin D, a 1-a-day vitamin. Where HEB came about and helped us, along with Matthew 25 ministries and Procter and Gamble. I mean, they came in a big way. And so everybody has pooled their resources to provide all these products. And it's just a celebration. First of all, we're giving back to that community, but we're also bringing awareness for people to do their part. I also did buttons that says, I did my part, I got tested today. So people can feel a sense of pride about doing their part to protect their community.
I know you are aiming for 1,000 people in Houston,
Yeah.
but it doesn't end here, that you're continuing to push for more funding, for more testing.
Yes, the testing is going to go on. So we're hoping that this will bring attention. People will be aware of it and they will go and get tested. And in Houston, but not only Houston, because I challenged my friend Tyler Perry, and he's going to do it in Atlanta. And I asked him to challenge New Orleans and New Orleans to do Detroit, everywhere where there's a concentration of minorities, Black and brown people who are, not, they're to take advantage of the resources, actually. And I talked to Octavia Spencer this morning, another one of my friends, and she's going to do it in Hattiesville, Mississippi. So these rural towns, or these towns where people are not aware and they're not taking advantage of the free testing, we hope to bring awareness to them.
And I know you'll be a part of our panel discussion in a couple of nights talking about just this issue. And I assume getting that message across once again to people who are not able to come to the testing.
Yes, because some people won't be able to come. But, I especially appeal to our younger generation to please go and get tested.
Now, you no longer live in Houston full time. You're now living out in LA, but you're constantly giving back to the Houston community during Harvey, during other storms that we've had, now during this pandemic. Why is that so important to you?
Houston is home for us. I mean, Houston gave us I'm actually from Galveston, but I moved to Houston very young, and my children were raised in Houston, and we absolutely love Houston. We love the community. We love the energy. And, if everybody reaches back to their hometown to do their part and to help their hometowns in times of crisis, I mean, it would be we'd have an easier time of things.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping people will do. Everybody that's, somebody that's in a position to help, they came from somewhere, and it's probably not LA. We're mostly transplants. So LA or New York, help, reach back and help people. Jack Dorsey and Beyonce teamed up and they gave out $5 million to COVID relief. And a big portion of that went to Houston, because we're trying to help our community, and we're hoping that everyone else will do the same.
And I want to ask you about that, because one of the things about your daughters is they're always giving back. And as a mom, and with Mother's Day weekend coming up, is that something you instilled in them from a very early age?
Absolutely. We started feeding the homeless when Solange was 5 and Beyonce was 10. They weren't happy about it back then, but I'm so happy that we did that. We committed 6 months. Sunday after church, we fed the homeless, and they learned very early on that feeling that you get when you make a difference in somebody's life. It's like, I get chills thinking about it, and they do too. So that has been a part of their DNA from the very beginning, just to give back and to consider it an honor to be able to give back to people and help.
Well, they definitely do that. I know that there are a lot of young mothers out there who look to you for some advice. Actually, you've got 2 incredibly beautiful, smart, successful daughters. What advice do you give moms about raising their kids?
Well, just that most of our children's lessons come from us. We're the biggest teachers in their lives. And that you got to walk the walk. You can't say, do as I say, but not as I do, because they are watching everything that you're doing. So whatever you want them, whatever message you want to send to them, you have to live it as well. So I've tried to just live my life and always think about how things will land on my kids. I mean, I think that's the biggest advice. And being cute is nice on the outside, but you got to work on being as cute on the inside.
You must be incredibly proud of the mothers that they've become to their own children.
Absolutely. You know, Solange, Beyonce, and Kelly are all incredible mothers. I'm just always so proud. I get so full thinking about it. So I feel like maybe I did something right.
Do they still come to you for advice, for little things, big things?
Yes, all the time. And that makes me happy.
I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how Beyonce is still repping Houston all the time. Got together with Megan the Stallion, the rapper, to put together a really nice remix. What motivated her to do that? Because I know that also related to raising money for the coronavirus.
Yes. Um, she met her, and I think Megan asked her about collaborating, and this was just a great time to do it. And Megan wanted to give back to Houston as well because she is a Houstonian as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, it turned out to be a wonderful collaboration. And I know Megan doesn't have a mom. So, yeah, I know Megan doesn't have a mom, that she died early in life. And I would imagine you've probably taken another person under wing. Is that right?
Well, I have not met her yet
Oh,
because I didn't get to go to the party this year. I was in Africa, and
uh-huh.
so I look forward to meeting her. And I got a million children,
I,
so I had one more.
so I'm anticipating you're going to have at least one more daughter after this is all said and done. Tell me a little bit about how you all dealt with the quarantine. How has the family been getting along? Are you all staying together, or are you kind of
No, we're
spread
all
out?
at our own homes. We have our own spaces, but we have been FaceTiming every day, which was great at first, but now it's getting old. I want to touch my grandchildren so bad. So for the first time on Saturday, we went to Beyonce's because we had to. A few of us still had to be tested,
Mhm.
and and we stayed 20 feet away from each other, and it was really hard, but it was the best thing in the world to actually see people in the flesh because it had been 10 weeks and my husband and I had not seen another human being in 10 weeks. But I just feel blessed that, we are healthy. That's the most important thing. And I have just used this time. I went through a few days of feeling sorry for myself and feeling lonely. And I said, you know what? I need to do something constructive and I need to give back. And this time will pass by a lot faster. So I got busy. We mentor kids, Tina's Angels and Richard's Warriors.
Right.
We started a fund to financially help them every 2 weeks, and that's been a big undertaking. And we started back our classes with them yesterday. And so I am keeping busy doing constructive things, and the time is passing much faster now. I
Yeah.
must.
Well, how did Beyonce sort of quarantine with three small kids?
Well, I mean, like everybody else. I mean, she's staying in her home and not been out and outside of her property, and it's. I mean, like everybody else with kids, you
Yeah,
know.
exactly. What's the best part about being a grandmother?
Oh God. Um, Probably just. I mean, I love little kids. Like they are just so innocent and spontaneous. And on my Instagram, I post kids every day because they are just such a joy. And so being a grandma, just having access to those kids to be able to hug them and listen to their little jokes and laugh, they make me laugh more than anything else. So that's the best part about being a grandma and giving them back. I don't have to have them all the time. That's
That's right. You can keep them for a little while and then send them home. That's
send them
exactly.
home. Yep.
Do you get some of your corny jokes from your grandkids? I know that's your favorite on Instagram.
Yeah. Blue has told me some corny jokes. We did a couple together online. She's not on social media, so she could only show her little hands, but we always have a corny joke between us.
Yeah, well, I love that on your Instagram page. It really is tremendous. Well, we appreciate this so much. We really do. Oh, I know what else I was going to ask you. You think you'll have any future performers out of your grandkids? Is it looking like
I'm sure I will. It's in the DNA, right?
that? Well, I didn't know if any of them was already showing a lot of interest in performing in front of people.
Yeah, all kids are right now. I think all kids are, they're all entertainers now.
Yeah. Did they understand not being able to hug you and spend time with you when they could see you just a few feet away?
Well, the younger ones don't.
Hmm.
Uh, the older ones, my grandson Jules is 15
Oh, my
and
goodness.
Blue is 8. And so they understand. Titan understands because he's 6, but the babies were confused. They kept wanting to come over, and it's hard for them to understand.
But at least they can see grandmama, and that's
Yeah,
the important thing. Well, Tina, thank you so much.
thank you, Melanie.
We are so grateful to you for all of the things that you are about to do for your hometown, and we love claiming all of your family because you are so important to us and so important to everything we do in this city. So thank you, and we will see
Bye.
you, I guess, tomorrow night. Now, are you spending most of Mother's Day weekend here, or are you going to get a chance to
And
enjoy your?
Houston, oh no, I'm not coming to Houston.
Oh, you're going to do all of
We're
this.
quarantined. This is we take this very seriously. We are my whole family is quarantined, so they will not be in Houston. We have a team of people there that are working, to put on this event, and we're supporting as much as we can. But no, we can't come. We don't leave out of our house. We haven't had any contact
And
with
in
people.
10 weeks, which is pretty amazing. So everything's going to be done virtually, which is a whole nother element
Yes,
to all of this.
it's the sign of the times, right?
In